Earlier today, I spoke with His Majesty the King to request the dissolution of Parliament. The King has granted this request, and we will have a general election on the 4th of July. This election will take place at a time when the world is more dangerous than it has been since the end of the Cold War.
The election in Britain was due by January the 25th of next year. It could hardly have been very close to that date, who would have campaigned over Christmas, but the more likely time was considered to be September or October of this year. Why so early now? Why July the 4th? The surprise itself, for a start, Labour has been getting its act together ahead of an anticipated election, and Rishi Sunak has long said that it will be in the second half of the year. Well, it is just about, but really no one was expecting it that early into the second half.
I feel it's long overdue, to be honest, because I feel things are getting a bit stagnating just now. Nothing seems to be changing. If anything, things just seem to be getting worse all the time. So yes, I would welcome a general election. The sooner the better.
As we're getting older, things are getting worse. They say, oh, that's for the better, but a lot is not, you know, so health service, school system, everything, you know, it's just not right the way it should be.
I'm really pleased to hear that we are having a general election. I think it's about time that people actually bother to go out and vote, though. That's the big thing. People need to get to the voting stations. Super.
Hardly coincidentally, the election was announced straight afterward that inflation is down, and down significantly. That was the biggest promise of Rishi Sunak, and he has more than kept it.
Well, thanks to everyone's hard work and resilience, today we reached a major milestone and inflation is back to normal. And that is an important moment for our country, for the economy, and shows that our plan is working. And whilst I know people are only just starting to feel the benefits and there is more work to do, I hope this gives people confidence that if we stick to the plan, there are brighter days ahead.
It certainly would have been a calculation to announce an election on the back of that achievement. But the fulfillment of that promise has come at a cost, and it has come at the cost likely of his second promise, which was economic growth. That has stalled. The economy went into a recession. The interest rates have been raised. The Bank of England has raised those 14 times. Borrowing has become more expensive. Mortgage rates have gone up, and economy and new investment has therefore stalled. Therefore, the first achievement really has been conditional on a setback on the other front, even though Sunak says that the economy is now bouncing back.
People can judge me by my record. I have been prepared time and time again to do what I think is right for our country, even when it's difficult. Right? That requires an ability to take bold action. It requires an ability to stick to a plan, even when it's tough. And as we've seen, with inflation returning back to normal, economic stability returning, that plan is working. And now we can build on that progress and deliver everybody a secure future for themselves, for their families, for our country. That's what I'm going to spend the next 6 weeks talking about.
Our offer is to reset both our economy and our politics, so that they once again serve the interests of working people. We totally reject the Tory view that economic strength is somehow gifted from those at the top. Over the past 14 years, through all the crises we've had to face, sticking with that idea has left our country exposed, insecure, and unable to unlock the potential of every community.
The third of Rishi Sunak's 5 promises was to bring down national debt. That has been rising and falling through his term as Prime Minister, but it is still very high, close to 100% of the GDP. The fourth promise was that National Health Service waiting lists would be cut. That clearly has not happened, and Rishi Sunak admitted as much in an interview earlier this year. The fifth and final was to bring down immigration across the English Channel, the illegal migrants coming over those small boats. The record there is somewhat patchy. The number this year is slightly above that over a similar period last year, but the number last year had come down over the year earlier. And there is no promise yet that that number really would be contained, considering that the plan to send migrants to Rwanda and to use that as a threat to stop them coming in will work. That plan has been stalled by the opposition, by the House of Lords and by the courts.
I hope that my work since I became Prime Minister shows that we have a plan and are prepared to take bold action necessary for our country to flourish. Now, I've stuck with that plan and always been honest with you about what is needed, even when that's been difficult.
because I'm guided by doing what is right for our country, not what is easy. I can't say the same thing for the Labour Party, because I don't know what they offer.
We have a long-term plan to rebuild Britain, a plan that is ready to go, fully costed and fully funded. We can deliver economic stability, cut the NHS waiting times, secure our borders with a new border security command, harness great British energy to cut your bills for good, tackle antisocial behaviour, and get the teachers we need in your children's classroom. But most importantly of all, we do all this with a new spirit of service. Country first, party second.
So July the 4th it is, and the reason it's not a week or 2 or 3 later is because July and August are holiday seasons and no one will want campaigning and government formation to be coming in through the bulk of that period. That is at the practical level, but really beneath all this, there has been a pervasive feeling that the government has lost grip. It has not been commanding the respect and support even of its own MPs and members from the party across the country. And this has weakened the hands of the government. This feeling is not quantifiable, but it has been pervasive. Speaking of the unquantifiable, what of the good old astrologer? We do not know and never will, of course, but we'll have to wait and see now if what the stars say, or someone says the stars may have said, is in line with what the voters say.